Hello, my name is Christopher Lara. I am here on behalf of Professor Jordan Wiggins on the course of English 101. And today the subject would be media bias. What you may ask, what is that? Media bias is referred to as the particular of news organizations and journalists in selecting events and stories to report on, as well as the way those stories are covered. It's often a result of both systematic factors within the media industry and individual choices, and it could significantly shape public perception. My objective here today is to view how each news broadcast broadcasted the death of Charlie Kirk. My concerns are, were there any emotions to him? Were there any favoritisms to him? Did they possibly mention him as they view him as a dangerous person, or as a leader, or as a public figure? As since his name, he was a very controversial person. My first news broadcast would be the New York Times. Upon looking throughout the New York Times, they had multiple stories covering Charlie Kirk between his past, present, his death, and past his death. Looking through a couple of them, I've seen that they viewed Kirk as someone who was spiritually controversial beliefs, with the use of today, especially. His Due to his controversial topics is what was trending. His topics included LGBTQ community, abortion rights, Christian practices between men and women, how the roles are, how a man is supposed to lead and take practices within his wife, and how the wife is supposed to submit to their husbands in the name of marriage during Christianity, which spiraled a lot of controversy. The New York Times believed that his controversy subject sparked a hate towards him, and they believe that ultimately it's what ended his life. The news report that I used to get this information from was the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I could not find the author who wrote it. However, that is the title if you guys are willing to go check it out. My second news broadcast would be CNN. In the news article, Charlie Kirk, a prominent controversialist activist and Trump ally, dies after shooting at Utah campus event. And this is by Eric Bradner. Um, a quick summary would be that the political party of the Trump administration is in fear that if we, the people, could assassinate a controversial political activist, that there is no knowing what or who could be next. And they quote, said, Kirk was known for debating about abortion rights, which he opposed. He opposed climate change, which he downplayed, and transgender rights, which he rejected. Close quote. That was true. However, he was looking in the retrospect that between what is right and what is wrong, what is morally right, what is morally wrong. That's what his main topics were. Even though most of the time his topics were very controversial, in his mind, I believe that he had some logic behind it. And looking through in that perspective, I wouldn't say I agree on him, nor would I say I disagree. Some of them were justified, some of them were not. On to the new one, the other news broadcast would be BBC News. On the social media platform, BBC News, vast majority of the articles included the subject of college dropouts, subject as college dropout, as they mentioned him as to Kirk. And on the topic of that subject, their main article was saying that how could a college dropout, Kirk, could be able to make it successfully within the community to the point where he is one of the magma politicans. And there really wasn't much information on it, but it was more of saying what people viewed the things that he did good and viewed things that he did bad. They viewed him as a good person, but also viewed him like on his controversial topics that was very sensitive, and he already spoke up briefly upon them a lot, and which was sparked lots of his hate and lots of negativity around him. However, on BBC News, on the article, it says that they believe that he made a big impact within the youth, whether it was good for bad. The next news broadcast would be Fox News. Fox News platform emphasized the tragic death of Charlie Kirk throughout multiple articles. They mostly spread and lead information about conspiracies that writers and journalists and witnesses pushed out to public to see, such as people were saying that, oh, that it was an inside job, that the person who killed him was an old man, people who murdered him was a 20-year-old, whatnot. It's just they're going based off the conspiracies, but they're not confirming whether any of it was true. They're just letting the people know what was going on, what people theorize were doing with the information given to him. Another a bonus one. It's not a broad news broadcast. However, it is a platform that most people we use now today, which is TikTok. TikTok, on Charlie on TikTok, most mass majority of its audience were targeted by the Charlie Kirk, and it's spiraled a lot of rage, a lot of controversy within that subject ever since his death. People said he deserved it. People said he didn't. People said that they're glad that he got off. And I'll honestly, that is not a good way to put it in, but nonetheless, it is one of our right, the freedom of speech, to say what we want, and that is a right that we had from our founding fathers. Doing so with the whole new government knowing that he's of his passing, lots of people were very upset that the fact that the government and the MAGMA organization or the Trump administration really were memorializing and idolizing him, saying that he was a public figure of honor, where that he deserved a Medal of Honor. And lots of people were saying that that is very controversial because how could a public figure who never served gain such a high medal of honor for that, which most military personnel rarely ever get to see or rarely get that. What makes him any special or makes him any better than those who's actually served? That was one of the main topics that I saw going around. And besides that, that they just wanted to make him into a coin press, is what I heard. People were saying that his death wasn't that much compared to what we had before, but what was his motives to of the government to make him seem that he was actually not that he actually was that he deserved to be changed within the government. What was his moralization? Conclusion that would be that although it is a very sensitive topic, I'm starting a lot because I don't want to be biased on this. I'm just showing what the media showed me and what the media reported. However, my personal experience would be that it is a sad day, even though maybe people may see that, may hate him, may not. No one deserves to be gunned down like that. We have freedom of speech for a reason, and doing so, it is quite scary that we could say what we want and we could literally get executed or get popped for it. Nonetheless, he did not deserve it, and I don't agree nor disagree with his certain subjects, but I do understand his background of his research that he had made to conclude those statements. Nonetheless, thank you for listening to my rant. You guys stay safe. See ya.